Here we have Venom, one of the prominent RetroPie images for the Pi 4. This image is compatible with the Pi 4 4GB model, Pi 4 8GB model, and Pi 4 800. Now, I'm sorry, 400. Now, you can use this image on the 2GB and possibly the 1GB. Has never been tested, but I highly recommend you stay with what I recommend because of the images that are on this image, the video loading screens, the marquee video. All of this has been tailor-made for perfect optimization for your RetroPie device. So just a little bit of information about Venom. Obviously, you guys know I have been working on this since October. Well, actually, I've been working on this since April or May of last year when Supreme Ultra base was released. So this has taken me some time to put together. And then, of course, optimizing the front end specifically for my tailored needs. So what is different about Venom? Why should you waste your bandwidth downloading it? And what interest does it have for you? So the cool thing about Venom is I decided to go with 3 different themes for this image. As you guys know, this build does have a track mode. It has Pegasus, and it also has Emulation Station, Pixel, and Kodi. And I've customized a few of those things for you guys today. We're going to take a look at all of it. I'm also pleased to announce that this is my 3rd RetroPie image that I am giving the community, but it is my first and only image that is fully loaded. Previously, I've released Pistolero, which was a light gun only. And before that of 2019, I released Supreme 1-Up, which was tailored for arcade images, but primarily made for the arcade 1-Up community. So Venom is my personal image that I am sharing with the community. This is not centered around retro gaming or any other personal genre. This is my personal image I'm releasing to the community, so it's a little different. So I wasn't trying to cater to any specific group of people. So here we have Venom. It has over 20,000 games. So you have 20,186 games available. This is the main theme that you are looking at, called the KDK Venom theme here. Let's pull it up really quick so you guys can take a look. This is the KDK Venom image. It was customized for me by a guy named Gucci. I haven't seen him around a little bit, but he does some awesome work. So he helped me out with this. In the collections, which we'll cover later, we do have a few. We have 3DO, 64 games, Open Board 61, CPC 341, Arcade Classics. We are at, Amiga. We have 341 games, CPC 3,277, Arcade Classics. I went deep into my personal vault, guys. Hope you guys appreciate it. 66 games for Arcade Classics. That is probably one of the largest arcade sets out there. I know typically they come in at around 22, maybe 2,400. So added a lot of stuff from my personal collection. Atari 2600, 630 games. Atari 5200, 72 games. Atari 7800, we have 68 games. Atari Lynx, we have 76. Atari ST, 407 games. Atomic Wave 26, we have Commodore, 147 games. ColecoVision, 146. Daphne, we have 15. Dreamcast, 282 games. Family Computer, we have 104. Nintendo Game & Watch, 66. Game Gear, 249. Game Boy, 665, I believe that is. Can barely read that number. Game Boy Advance, 1,036. Game Boy Advance Hacks, 26. Game Boy Color, 536 games. Game Boy Hacks, 19. Intellivision, 25. Sega Master System, 281. Sega Mega Drive, 784. Mega Drive, 196. MSX, 667. MSX2, 83 games. Nintendo 64, 308 games. Just a quick thing about Nintendo 64 games. I do have the defaulted resolution at 720p, which was recommended for Pi 4. If you guys have watched my previous videos, to let the Pi fully upscale. And so the The display will automatically detect, so this is not showing at 720 at 1080p. I highly suggest you keep it at 720p and let the TV do the optimization. So you will get better optimization for Nintendo 64 games with that resolution. But aside from that, the default emulator is Mugen. You will have to decide whether you want to assign your games for either parallel or GLES high resolution. So some of the games will benefit from either one of the emulators, but I left it up to you to do that. However, 007 is already optimized with parallel. Left that on there for you, so you can go ahead and check that out. Naomi 181, Nintendo DS 1986, Neo Geo, we have 145 games. Nintendo NES, we have 791. NES Hack 6, Neo Geo Pocket 9, Neo Geo Pocket Color 40 games, Oric 5. PC games, you don't have to worry about this folder. There's really nothing in here. You can just skip over that. PC Engine 274, CD-ROM 2 games. Ports, you don't have to worry about this folder over either. We will go ahead and talk about that a little bit later. PlayStation Portable, 75 games. PlayStation Mini, 293. PlayStation, 275. Residual VM. You also have your options. Sega Saturn, 302. Scum VM, 62. And just a quick note about Sega Saturn. Not all the 3D games will run fine. I did go ahead and put them on here anyway. Most of the 2D games will run perfectly fine with the Sega Saturn, so you don't have to worry about that. Sega 32X, 36 games available. Sega CD, 29. Super Famicom, 486. SG, 1068. SNES, 786. Super Nintendo Hacks, 37. TurboGrafx 16, 94. Vectrex, 20. Philips Video Pack, 49 games. Virtual Boy, 24. WonderSwan, 106. WonderSwan Color, 84. Sharp X, 68,236. eMachine 3. Sinclair 377, Macintosh 1, and then of course we have Kodi and Pixel and several of other collections here as well. Now currently on the right side of your screen, that is the marquee script. So that is what you will have play if you enable the Supreme Marquee tool. It is my custom image I am giving to you guys. Now you can run this for about, well actually this video is 3 minutes long, and it constantly loops. So whenever you're playing a game or not playing a game, it shows, but when you aren't playing a game, it will display the game artwork, which I will show you guys in just a few seconds. Select your play. Press forward. Round one. You can take this guy, right? He's got shit you will never see. Colossus. However, I did do some updates for you for Kodi. I went ahead and loaded Kodi Xenon and Kodi Xenon Fire. Hope you guys really love that. It's really impressive. I decided to go ahead and add a few things on there for you. One of the things about this system that I did love was that not only does it run really fluid and perfectly, but I wanted to add the Venom Kodi front end, but however, it really didn't pop. It didn't really catch my attention as well as the Kodi Diggs Xeon. So I went ahead and added that for you as well. So you guys can check it out. It was really impressive. You can see that there on your screen. Pixel, This will not work. Now, neither Kodi or Pixel will work if you have the Supreme Marquee video running at the same time. So that will not work. So in order to use Kodi or Pixel, which also has a better front end, with Pixel you have a Windows 10 interface. It has PieKiss and all the other apps on there you love. You will have to turn off the Supreme Marquee tool in order to use it, as well as Chromium as well. Beat 'em ups. So let's we'll take a look at these collections first. We have beat 'em ups. We have Final Fight. We have 175 light gun games. So I do believe this is the largest database of light gun games currently you can find for the Pi. This actually trumps Pistolero. So I do know that there were a few other light gun games I did add on here, but for whatever reason, Emulation Station is not showing it up in the menu. So there are games I do have on Pistolero that are on here, but however, it doesn't show on my image. Now, for example, I think it was the PlayStation Judge Dredd, which is a light gun game. It is on here, but however, it is not taking the count into effect. So I don't know why that is. Midway, 33 games, pinball, 9 games, shoot 'em ups. We got Spider-Man, all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, wrestling, X-Men collections. So this is the special I told you guys about the Venom symbiote and Supreme 1-Up. So if you guys are familiar with my Supreme 1-Up image, shout out to the community. This has a list of all the games that they've comprised since they've started back in 2018. And if you want to add some more there, you can go ahead and customize that if you want. But most of the games are there. Also, too, what you are listening is a scrolling effect. So this is the sound that I have added to this particular theme. And in addition to this sound, which is the sound from Tekken, I pulled it from there. So you will have this when you're selecting games. So that's new from a lot of themes. You really don't have a lot of themes that have sound effects. But there are 4 different sounds for this Venom theme, KDK. So I just turned up the volume so you guys could hear it. Yeah, so we got different sounds there as you guys can hear it while I scroll through the menu screen. All right, so in addition to the sounds, this particular theme set, which I'll show you at the end of the video, has 4 individual different sounds, and you can change that. Some of the sounds will sound like Venom, like a Venom swish. He makes different sounds while you're scrolling through. It's completely up to you, however you want to customize it. But with this collection called the Venom Symbiote, one of the things that I love to do is add in different ROM sets for different games. So for example, we only have one version or one ROM for Aliens vs. Predator. This is already pre-set up for you to be a 3-player game. So you don't have to go into the dip settings and switch this yourself. I've already done it for you. So for example, we have, let's see here. We have 2 copies of Bucky O'Hare. One is the American version. The other one is European, I believe. One of the ROMs is set to 2 players and the other one is set to 4. It doesn't say that on the screen, but however, each ROM is set up individually. The same thing with Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. So one ROM is 2 players, the other one is 3. Captain America and the Avengers. This is another one added by Arcade 1-Up. With their new releases coming out, we have one ROM here that is 2 players and another one is set to 4. Captain Commando, another ROM that is set up for 2 players and another one that is 4 players as well. Now, there are a ton of 4-player games available out there, obviously, when you start factoring in the entire video game library. However, this particular menu, I wanted to make sure I left it primarily for some of the arcade titles and primarily beat 'em ups. So I know most of the games out there as far as soccer, football, and all the sports games, yeah, those are 4-player games. So yeah, you can use your imagination and pick whatever you want. But I left those out there because I wanted this list to be unique. Dungeons and Dragons, these are set for 2 players and 4. Dungeons and Dragons, Chronicles of Mysteria, all those are either set for 2 and 4-player variants. One of my favorite fighting games or beat 'em ups on the PlayStation was Fantastic Four. That is a 4-player game. And I believe this may be another first time we have not Street Fighter, but Final Fight 30th Anniversary Edition. Some of you out there asked me about this game a while ago. So here it is, Final Fight 30th Anniversary Edition. You could select 3 different guys, 3 different Hagars, 3 different Kodis. They have different colors. Or you can use 2 of each character. This is a 3-person game. So again, I wanted to bless you guys with this. The Final Fight 30th Anniversary Edition. I know this isn't on a lot of Pi units. I've never seen it before, but however, you guys are going to have it. Gauntlet Arcade, you get the 2-player and 4-player variants. You also get Judge Dredd. This is a 3-person game here. Knights of the Round and Knights of Valor, 2-player and 3-player sets. Knights of Valor is again. Michael Jackson Moonwalker. You have 3 player. That game was already 3 players, so there was no need to adjust any of the dip settings there. And then of course we have some other favorites. NFL Blitz, Peter Pan. So this is probably another first time ROM that hit RetroPie unless somebody personally added it. You have Hook. So there's another arcade game called Hook, which is a 4-player game, and then you have the bootleg version, which is Peter Pan. So this is 4 players as well. So I added that on there for you guys for my own personal collection. Pit Fighter, we have Pit Fighter Arcade. This is a 3-player game for those of you guys familiar with it. So I know you are also familiar with Spider-Man Sunset Riders. We have the 4-player version on here as well as the 2-player version. There should be another one on here somewhere, but it is there. You have the Oceania ROM from Japan, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2-player ROM and 4-player. I know a lot of images don't have both, or some just only have the 2-player version. I don't know why that is, but you're getting both. Simpsons 2-player and 3-player formats. And I'll scroll down the list really quick here. Of course, you have X-Men. You have the 2-player version, the 4-player version, and the 6-player version as well. And in addition to the 6-player version in the arcade set, you also have both the American version and the Japanese version as well. So I included both of those for all of my subscribers and everybody in the RetroPie community. All right, let's take a look too at one of the other things I did add. Another thing that I did add here to the Venom image is I added 2 different versions of the Punisher game. Now, it's long been rumored, and I know it's possible that the Punisher game has a flaming blue kick in the Japanese version. However, it's weird that the Japanese version that I have doesn't have a flaming blue kick. It actually has a flaming blue punch. So if you're holding forward and punching with Punisher, the enemies turn to blue flame instead of using a kick. So you have 2 different copies of that Punisher game. I'll show you here in just a second. So here we go there. So we have the Punisher Japanese version. I labeled it for you. And you have the Punisher World version. So that's the American version. And then you have the Japanese version, which has the flaming blue punch. So there are a lot of other games in here as well that have 2- and 3-player variants. So that's one of the special things I added for you here in my personal arcade set as well. Some of the other things I did add is you are getting 5 customized soundtracks. I hope you guys really love rap music. If you hate rap music, then you may end up downloading this image and then changing out the music, or you probably won't like the image at all. But I did take some time out and customize my own soundtrack mix. So you will hear Venom sounds with Carnage and Spider-Man on top of some other underlying tracks. But hope you enjoy the entire soundtrack primarily. There's some other general music in here as well that I really paid attention to. Let me go ahead and switch over to one of the other themes so you guys can check it out. But you know what? Let me go to options first, and then we'll continue. So this image is 625 gigabytes. So you will need a 1 terabyte drive in order to install this. And of course, this will work on an SD card. However, I strongly recommend you using a SSD and not an SD card, because it does take a little while for some of the games, not the games, but the menus to load and some of the other things there too. So in options, I did go ahead and customize the standard Supreme Ultra menu screen here. You have controller tools, and in controller tools, You have a customized Venom image for everything here. Send-in light gun software, you will have to set up your own controls in your gun for the send-in on this particular image. You pretty much have to do that anyway. And then, of course, go into the actual game emulation and set up the controls there too. However, the software on here has been upgraded from 1.03 beta to 1.04. So that is currently on this image, the latest send-in software. In addition to that, I know I had a lot of people ask me about aim track. As you guys know, I did a previous video. Aim track does not work. Well, it does work on the Pi 4. However, the emulators that they have associated with their software are not capable of running on the Pi 4. So aim track is capable of using advanced MAME and MAME for all. But after talking to some reps, that only works on the Pi 3B Plus. It does not work with what any of the games are associated with for the arcade emulation on the RetroPie device. So unfortunately, I mean, hopefully the company makes that aware. I'm not even sure if that's a third-party software to help get it working, but you guys will have to take that up with the company and whoever made the software. All right, backing out here, you have your emulation station tools. You have RetroPie tools. You have visual tools. The visual tools, this menu is where you need to delete your bezels if you don't want the bezels. I didn't delete it, but personally, if you guys want to have more room on your screen, depending upon if you're using this on an arcade cab or TV, whatever your preference is, I left it there. The easiest or the best suggestion is just to delete it. I wouldn't even try turning it off and on. It gets causes problems that way. You have all the standard options you are familiar with Supreme Ultra. I'm not going to go into everything about Supreme Ultra. You guys can watch all the other previous videos I have done covering it for the past several months. You have your overscan, you have Raspberry Pi video output script there. But again, this is where you turn on and off your Supreme 1 marquee. Again, the marquee is what you are looking at on the right. And so typically when I do a review, I use my little 14.9 inch LCD screen to display all that. But because I spent a lot of time and effort and I wanted you to see the full quality of the Adobe animated image I put together for you, I decided to go ahead and use my 65-inch TV. So yeah, so what you're looking at right now are my two 65-inch TVs side by side. Obviously on the left, we have the RetroPie image, and then on the right, you have your marquee tool, which you guys will enjoy, fair enough. So one of the other firsts that has been done here on this image that I've done even on Pistolero is you have two different sorts of splash screens. So you have a splash screen that starts with on your RetroPie device, and then you also get a splash screen before your marquee tool. So that was something I added in for you guys. So hope you guys appreciate that as well. Fix my build. If you have a problem with Supreme Ultra, you need to revert it back to the original state. This is where you go for that. If you have a problem with your controllers or configuring it, you can kind of reset everything there. However, I do not suggest reverting your image back to Supreme Ultra default, because if you do, it will erase everything that I've created for you, all the artwork, everything. But if you have a problem with controllers, you can reset the controllers, that's fine. But if you just do a hard reset, it will erase everything that I've done for you here. Hopefully, if you don't, I mean, you shouldn't have any problems, but it would be better to reburn the image than to just hit this script, because this will revert it back to the default RetroPie and not the customizations that I've made for you. Front end selector. You also have a track mode. Unfortunately, I did not touch a track mode. I did have some videos I was going to add, but because that would be an entirely different beast to tackle with all the media in a track mode, I just decided to leave it stock. I know on Pistolero I added a couple of videos, but with this, I got burnt out with artwork and everything else that I was trying to customize for everyone. Raspberry config, RetroPie setup, Supreme online toolkit, system info, and weather. So this is where you can find out little details about your image and so forth. So everything is there for you. All right, let's take a look at a couple more themes for Venom. So we have KDK Venom. We have Super Sweet. We have Venom 2, which is another version of this particular theme. We have Venom Noir, Venom Noir 1. The difference between these two is different artwork. So I've actually just decided to go ahead and add it in both of them. I spent some time with it, so I just figured, why not? I'll just throw it in there. Epic Noir, we have Omega. Actually, Omega won't be included in this. That's just my personal one, so you guys can forget that one. Slip Tech will be here, and Supreme Space, and as well as Arcade 1-Up aspect ratio 5:4. So Supreme Space, let's take a quick look at that one. I know you guys have seen me debut that one on either Pistolero or also Wolfenos' Retromania image. That is the defaulted theme added by the Supreme team. So just really quick, it has all the collections here, all the games, all the systems. And then I'll scroll over to another one that I made. Those won't be in there. Let's see here, Venom Noir. Well, let's take a look at that one first since we're already here. And again, depending upon the speed of your drive, it also helps determine how long it will take to change some of these themes, because of all the customizations and the size of the theme, it will take some time to change. All right, so here is the KDK, not the other KDK, but this is the Venom Noir. So I added some artwork to this. I'll just scroll through it really quickly. And this is where a lot of the marquee video footage that I'm using, it came from this particular theme. So in case you guys were wondering. I wanted something dark, something gritty, something that fit the tone of Venom. I didn't want something retro. I didn't want anything that had like a kiddie feel to it. So I wanted to go with some of the best images that were out there for Venom. And this theme isn't particularly complete. I do believe it only shows about 76 collections. So if you do, it's like some of the hacks, you can't see them because there is no artwork for them, or I didn't create a config for that. Again, apologize about that, but try to get as much done as I possibly could. But yeah, the other main theme, KDK, Venom, and Space, will obviously show you everything, as well as a couple of the other images, or a couple of the other themes. And so here you guys go. Nintendo Entertainment System. And as you can see, that is Max from the movie Flight of the Navigator, another top-end movie. And so the particular theme from this that I wanted to create, if you're looking at this and looking at all the themes, is I wanted to tell a story. And the story is Max, which is from Flight of the Navigator, brings Venom to Earth, and then all chaos breaks loose. So I really wanted to add that little piece in there. I do have a splash screen video kind of dedicated to that. And then, of course, with Venom. So the whole objective of this particular image was to kind of tell a story while you're enjoying the movie. I'm sorry, while you're enjoying your RetroPie device, along with all the additional sounds that it has to offer. So we'll take a look at one more theme, and we will switch over. So with this particular theme, I added just a few more photos. I wanted to really extend the artwork and things that I thought were cool that really expound upon this Venom image. There is another Venom theme out there somebody in the community made, but I really didn't think it was appropriate. It really didn't cater to the rawness and the gritty effect that I wanted to have on this image, along with the music and, of course, along with the splash screens that really made it pop. So again, there's not a lot of things you can do with the Raspberry Pi image or with a RetroPie image, but I wanted to showcase in detail all the things that I've tailor-made and taken beyond what the standard base of Supreme Ultra has to offer. Typically, when people release images and so forth, they usually don't do a lot of stuff. Some people may just do a standard ROM dump, and they take the defaulted image and stuff, and a lot of times people get praised for a lot of their work, but that was the work of somebody else. So I wanted to showcase everything that I'm capable of doing with everything that you guys have seen on my YouTube channel, Adobe After Effects, Element 3D, the personal animations. I wanted to do the Supreme Team justice and give you guys a really vibrant feel of what the Pi 4 has to offer with RetroPie. With that all being said, of course, there's customized music tracks on here that I've made. The video loading screens, You can check that out in a separate video. I do have that. It took me about 3 days to make that. And I will admit, on some of those, I kind of cut corners by taking the same one and then the same template video and then adding something on top of that. I could have, but again, you know, I was really pressed for time, didn't have a lot of time to really work on it. So that was the best that I could do in that regard. And yeah, it took me about 3 days having to edit and render everything. And then, of course, factoring in all the artwork. Again, here's another popular photo, Flight of the Navigator. That's kind of the story here as well. But that's it. That's pretty much it. So I hope you guys really like this. If any of you at all decide to erase any of the splash screen videos for this, please make sure they are no longer than 40 seconds and no longer or larger than 50 megabytes. I've worked out a pretty much good sweet spot, because if you do not, well, if you actually load a video or a splash video longer than 40 seconds with the marquee script on, Emulation Station will not fully load. It doesn't mean it's a crash or anything, but because you have to render or have enough memory between both monitors, you need to have enough memory free. And if that original splash video is longer than 1 minute or actually longer than 40 seconds, Emulation Station will not load. I actually deleted the original version that I had for Venom. I had some additional splash screens on here. I had to edit all those down. I was going to have you guys delete it, but I said, you know what, I'll just take care of it. I finally managed to edit the splash screens that I have down under to 40 seconds with additional sweet spots and things that I tailored. So that way Emulation Station doesn't freeze while you have the Pi Marquee script on. So that's a little different than, like I said, it's a little different than crashing, but wanted to make sure I took care of that for you guys, because there is limitations on that Pi Marquee script when you're running dual Marquees. I think that's about it. So again, just a quick recap. You're getting about 5 customized soundtracks from me along with additional 40 other tracks that's on here. Customized artwork, video loading screens that are all tailor-made. This does have a track mode running in the background. There's a separate video for that. I did add in a lot of dual ROMs, so that way you guys have 3 and 4 player multi-variant, so you guys don't have to go through any of the dip switch settings and adjust most of those. You are getting the Supreme 1-Up tailored list. You're getting the largest library collective of light gun games on the Pi 4 at 176 games on this particular image. 625 gigabytes is what you will be getting. So you do still have more space to add on more. I highly recommend using an SSD. I know a lot of you want to use your own other personal SD cards and whatnot, but again, this is what I've tested. I've left my Pi on for overnight, and so I haven't had any issues with the type of hardware that I'm using. I also do not recommend a Pi 4 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabyte model. You will have other performance issues. Can't tell you what those are, but I do know one of the devs with the Supreme team, he had issues using a 1 gigabyte with Supreme Ultra. So there are differences out there. Even if you're just running retro games, there's a lot of stuff that you aren't aware of running in the background. This image is also not overclocked, so I made sure that it wasn't overclocked. So you will have, you still need to use a heatsink, you still need to use a fan. And with that being said, I think that's really about it. So let me know if you have any questions. I know it'll probably take you guys a few days to download everything. Once again, I thank all of the Patreon. I thank the Supreme team for helping advance the technology for RetroPie, and everybody else out there who stayed motivated. And there's also one special person I definitely want to acknowledge. I want to thank Bob out there, who's really been interested in my Venom image, because he's had a Venom themed arcade cabinet that he's been working on for a very long time. So hopefully when he's done with his cab, he can showcase it. But I wanted to give this to the community and let you guys see what I'm capable of doing, offering a full image along with the game library. I try to keep it minimal. There were some other games I could have added for Dreamcast that I wanted to, and also arcade, but I just decided to stay away from it. I mean, it's already a large enough file, and it's taken me about 4 days to upload everything. But again, here you go, guys. Go. Oh, one final thing before I go, I do want to show you the additional sounds on how to change the theme sounds for the particular image. So let me switch over really quick. We'll go ahead and pull up the UI settings, and we'll switch over to the defaulted. Let's see here. We'll go back to KDK Venom. So two of the themes on here. You know what? Let me show you the other theme too, because both of them have sounds on them. So that is the KDK Venom theme here. Let me switch over to my TV really quick. And I will pull up, let's see here. Okay, so now that we switched over to the desktop, I have logged into my Pi device. And so we're going to pull up the KDK theme and also, I believe it's the Venom too. Both of these have sound effects. So we're going to go into KDK Venom, and then we're going to click on the one that says _INC. And in this box right here where it says scroll 1, scroll 2, and scroll 3, these are the sounds for that Venom theme, and you guys can customize it, change it, but this is where they are. In order to activate them, you have to name the sound file to scroll. So the reason why these other three aren't activated is because they're scroll 1, scroll 2, and scroll 3. So this is the defaulted one that you have heard here. In fact, let me open it up. So this is the one you guys heard earlier in the video. Yeah, so that's the defaulted one you hear in the video. This is another one here. So that's another cool sound. And that is the sound of the default for the other theme. There's another theme called KDK Venom something or whatever. So that one still stays the same. And then this one. And that is the sound for the Venom theme if you want to use that one. That says Become Our Prey from Venom. That is taken from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So again, in order to change it, you have to name it Scroll in order to be effective. And then to keep the other existing sound, you have to rename it with another number. But pretty cool. Just thought I'd add that in there for you if you are interested in changing any sound. So let me find out what other theme has sound in here really quick. I believe it's this one. Let me go back twice. I believe it's Venom Noir. No, it's not that one there. It must be the Venom 2. There it is. So it's the Venom 2 theme. Okay, so there's only one sound in there, but if you guys want to mix and match sounds or put up whatever in there you want to, yeah, that theme will play sound. All right, so hope you guys enjoy everything. It's really been a pleasure having you here on the channel, going over everything in detail pertaining to my particular image. Please reference my playlist if you guys have any questions. You really won't find a lot of answers distinctively about Supreme Ultra. Or a lot of in-depth questions, but everything will be found in the playlist. Make sure you reach out to my personal group, KioDieKin Hobbies, RetroPie Official, or RK Paradise if you have any further questions. Or also message me or join my Patreon. Whatever you want to give would also be appreciated, or donate to the channel as well. But it's really been a pleasure working on all of this. Put a lot of time and effort into it, and hope you guys learned a lot. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting since last year, since I've been showing video after video, but here it is. We finally have Venom. And one other thing I wanted to add too is the reason why I decided to name this image Venom is not because the Marvel Capcom character, the Marvel character Venom really means a lot to me. I mean, it's cool. But usually when I come up with a particular image or a theme, I like to have it centered around something so that way I can pull from additional resources, you know, as far as either the character, artwork, music, soundtracks. It makes it a lot easier. But primarily when RetroPie or the Raspberry Pi 4 came out, you had a lot of haters out there. You had a lot of people talking trash. You had a lot of people in doubt saying, oh, RetroPie is not going to work for another 6 months. But working with the Supreme team had a base ready in a few days, actually. And then we were able to port it over, and then there were some performance glitches and stuff. But hopefully you would think that the community will pull together with one another and say, yeah, you know, good job. You know, thanks for helping us out or work on it. And it wasn't until beta 2 where everybody kind of turned their attitudes around saying, oh, okay, yeah, RetroPie is really working now on the Pi 4. So that spawned the name Venom, because there was a lot of people talking trash out there. And I was like, you know what? Let's show them what we can do. You know, we don't have to wait for a specific group of people. We don't have to wait for a specific person to get on the ball and help out the community. And so that's why this image is called Venom, because of all the haters in the community, all the people who had full of doubt and unbelief. And yeah, so as a strong community, we can pull together to make anything happen. No need to wait around for any specific group of people, any specific person to get on the ball and offer us the best, because we are a community of one. So yeah, so if you were out there talking trash and had a bunch of negative things to say, this one's for you. Later, everybody. It's KioDieKin's signing out. Bye. You know what's funny? I guarantee you, by the end of this video, no one even saw the Easter egg. Till next time.